and you just knowing your why too, man. Like, that's the piece that resonates, and the most with me, because every single day I know who I'm doing it for. Every single day I know who I'm doing it for, and there are some times you don't want to do certain things, but you got to get it done. And the reason why is because of the people that you're doing it for. One of the things that you said is like, hey, I don't want to ultimately be in a position where I'm impacting my family. And there's a whole, shake up there because I didn't have the right tools or was ready for certain opportunities and things like that in life. And ultimately, that's the same sort of mindset that I have, that I'm responsible for almost everything that happens within my household, within everything that happens for, to a majority, a majority control that I have over it. I'm responsible for it. And,
Right.
if I'm responsible for it and I have a bit of, influence over making it happen, I need to make sure it happens. And if it doesn't happen the way that I want it to, I feel like I'm the one that's letting the family down, right? So you put a lot of, pressure on your shoulders to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. But the main part of it is that you just know your why. You know why you're doing it. And I tell you one thing, it's big shoes. It's a lot. Something you said as well that resonates with me as well is that everybody know you to be ambitious, man. Like you live the life. You are the same person that you are when you go to work. You practice what you preach in your own home. There's no switching once you have that level of confidence and you know who you are and you're not worried about other people and what they say. They're going to like you or not going to like you. It is what it is at this point in time. It's your authenticity. When you bring that to work every single day, knowing that it's the same thing that you practice in your house, it just does wonderful things for you and in your career, because people are really getting an opportunity to know who Carlos is and they know what he stands for. You know what he stands for.
Yeah.
That's why I love the fact that you're, in a relationship and have kids and stuff like that. You don't learn that level of discipline and leadership without having a family like that. And that's where when
Right.
you learn these tools, you're able to practice it inside the house as well as
Yes.
practice it outside of the house as well too. And it becomes part of your natural life. It becomes part of your natural life. It's that
I
I
think
love
that,
the fact that you said that. You're going to say something,
I,
Carlos. Go ahead.
yeah, it's just like I'm always trying to give like gems to definitely our younger people, even though I'm younger too, but I still try to bridge that gap. I think a big thing is like the military has been beneficial for me because it allowed for me to, even though once I got off active duty, I went into the reserve capacity. I was able to try things in my my full time position and transfer it over to my military position. So
Mm,
it gave me kind of like I can balance things. I can kind of like leverage. Okay, see how this works, and it kind of I fed off both careers, like utilizing it to. It cost me 1 week in a month, 2 weeks, but it's a little more than that because I grew so much in rank. But it allowed me to, you know what I mean, to hone those skills and continue sharpening. That's why with this commission, I'm like, okay, well, this is going to feed in because I actually transitioned out, but then I got my letter saying out, well, you've been eligible for a commission. And I was like, well, that makes it enticing because now I can keep growing. I can use this to the point that, okay, Carlos, your end goal is the C-suite. Well, okay, now when you go into the, your week and your part-time job, you're still in a high level. Now you're over a department of, maybe 60 or 100 troops. You know what I mean? I can kind of leverage and use that influence too to practice those skills. You know what I mean? So it's beneficial. I always tell people like, hey, like, because you're so young and it doesn't cost you. It costs you some, but it's in the long run, it's really nothing. You can
yeah.
serve in a reserve and still have your full time career and just use that to gain certification. They pay for your school. I didn't come for money. I didn't come for the man I want to be. I'd never seen him before.
Mm,
It wasn't in my growing up. Like it was it's unforeseen. Like even now at my age, I don't have that in my family. I didn't have that person to figure out what it looks like. I spent a lot of my years just like searching like for that identity, but I realized that I had to be a trailblazer. And then when I walked into these buildings, these organizations, and I saw these walls, and it's full of all these great people, these great leaders who's ran these like whether it's the FAA, like, all these people who ran these organizations, and no one looked like me.
mm,
And
mm,
I didn't let it discourage me. it kind of fueled me. I realized I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. You know what I mean? Like I want to change that. So the big picture is my family, but at the same token, it's going to be another Carlos walking to those buildings and see the same thing and maybe not feel like he belong. But
Mm.
I want to change that. You're going to see me there, and I'm going to keep the same level of transparency, the same level of empathy, and I'm going to pay it forward. Like, hey,
Mm.
no, it is possible. It is doable. So that was one of the things that keeps me motivated when I go into these rooms. I go into these things, and I'm like, whoa, wow, I'm still one of you. Like, I want to change that narrative. I want to
Mm.
change that and know that, hey, and that's why I like keeping my range. Like, hey, well, you can be still, you can still be true to yourself and not feel like you gotta so-called sell out or whatever people say. Like, no, but you got to get to those points. You have to get to that position where you can change it. Otherwise, you're just part of the problem. You're
Mm.
just spitting out stuff, just discouraging people, and I'm not for
Exactly.
that. I'm
Exactly.
not. So
Exactly.
I, I'm, I'm, I'm gonna
I,
walk it.
I love it. I love it, Carlos. I'm on the same journey. I'm on that same exact journey. I think that's why you and I connect so well because we have a very much a mentality of leadership and being trailblazers. And not only that, when we're getting into these positions, we're helping to reach back and so forth. And I think that's
Yeah,
what the entire mission of ladder climbing is about as well too, man. And I say this right. I think that was the piece that you and I started talking about when we first had a conversation is why does it feel like a lot of the times we're the only ones in these positions, right? But there's many of us in these positions as well too, right? And it's our responsibility to set the example, to continue to give exposure, something that you said as well too, because if you don't have exposure, to what and how people operate or what goes on into these rooms or how businesses are ran or how, to work with other people, you're not going
right,
to be able to have a vision of what it's even like to even be there. Right. So now we're giving you the exposure because we're in these positions of power. Now you can look up and say, oh, I want to be like Carlos. Oh, I want to be like Antoine and so forth. Right. So I think that's a huge part of it, Carlos. That's a huge part of it. And instead of being scared and saying, you know what, I'm not going to do it because I don't see anybody up there like me, because you and I are looking up and we're like, oh shit, it's not it's not
nah,
another Antoine. We're like, you know what, when I get there, I'm going to, there's going to be many Antoines. Or there are going to be many Carloses. And I'm going to get there because I know I belong up there as well too. So instead of me saying, all right, it's too hard. It's too hard to get there. I got to
yeah,
play the game. I got to sell out. Nah, ain't about selling out. It's not about that at
it's
all.
not.
It's not.
And
It's
that's
about.
why.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that's why I was so happy I found you. You talk about our first conversation. I don't think
Yeah.
like when I stumbled across Antoine and he's just like amazing. When he started talking, I was just like, yo, I had to interrupt him. I was like, I gotta give you your flowers. I was like, listen, like I have to give you kudos because here I am just thinking that oh well, I'm just stumbling through just nice right. I was like, it's someone else who's there also who's up there who's a mark who can be that lighthouse, I mean, that little light when we go around knocking on doors. So you're gonna find just because of like our history that we're gonna have to be pioneers in it. And I told him I was like, I've been searching for mentors and someone to talk to for a while, and I was just like, kind of hidden. In the
Yeah.
same token, I've been hidden. You know what I mean? I've been here in my little pillar. And, what I mean? I was like, but I've been casting away just like, relationships that I knew weren't deemed necessary just so I could keep my focus. But now meeting you has been like so refreshing. Like I can ask questions, I can speak about feelings that I have to keep to myself because no one understands it. Because a lot of times when we talk about the inside, the struggles, the imposter syndrome, the battles that we fight, that we come home and we keep it locked in because we don't want to seem vulnerable, so we don't have anyone to release it to. But what you're doing. Like I'm telling you, your conversation saved me. Like I was driving, I find myself just like, man, listen, I gotta talk to him, and I literally just booked you randomly. I was like, hey, I don't care what the coach says is, I want the most money. Talk to this guy. And it was just like that. Those conversations are just, it was like a weight lifting off my shoulders, just to have somebody be able to relate to what I'm feeling. So it is. It's a lot of pressure into it, but it's what I've learned with you and like from you and your community. Is more people out there.
Yeah.
It's more, and it's just like you said. It's branching out and making those connections. And I think you're doing a tremendous job of showing that the stereotypes don't mix. Like
At
we
all.
we we they don't, like, you know what I mean. We do have empathy. We can engage with each other. We can be friendly. We can coexist. Like that has just been refreshing because growing up, like you said, you're from a small town too. We all heard the crab in the bucket mentality.
Yep.
These are things that's like placing this you got to be fearful about. But then when you meet people who genuinely have the same care and the same drive and passion with you, it kind of gives you that second win. I mean, you were saying like, "Oh man, I'm motivated by your story," but as soon as we got off our call, as my fiance, I made it like, "Yo, this dude's killing it." Like, impression like, "Oh man, this is what I need. This is somebody I need to just talk to," and just what I call just breaking bread, and just to be able to have those relationships is very, very beneficial, and it's so worth the time. Because us as men extremely, we don't really do it a lot. Women do tend to be a lot better than us at communicating. Um, just about their problems and what they're going through. They have a great level of empathy, and that's why you find a lot of men and women are able to have conversations better than two men, I think. But you are doing like numbers for a lot of men because a lot of us don't know how to, we don't have that circle to talk to, especially when you're going outside of the norm.
Yep.
But we want to make it the norm. This is the new norm.
It is. It
This
is.
is the new standard.